Hey you, are you wasting your time on social media again? Your brothers and sisters in Islamnet from Norway are establishing a masjid, a dawah center. Establishing a masjid to convey the message of Islam is one of the best deeds a Muslim can do. There's a huge need for it in Norway. You know this and I know this. So that makes the reward even greater. So give generously and Allah Azza wa Jal will give you even more.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? Nowadays in the so-called manosphere space, you have a woman, in fact, called Pearl Davis, who has a channel called JustPearly Things, which she criticizes women in relationships and does all these kind of things. And recently on Twitter, where I saw some of her interactions, she was stepping out of line, misbehaving, I have to say, when she was asking questions about the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in a pejorative manner, using, did he screw a 9-year-old and he date this one and do that one? She did say this. Believe me, let's continue. Trust me, she did say this. Screw, she used the word, I believe, 100%. Believe me. I promise you, she said it. Maybe she deleted it. I promise you, she said it. I know, it's incredulous. She came out of her lane. But then I had to put her back in the lane, no problem. And I think she regrets the situation, bro. Because it enraged many people. And why would she do that? It's like shooting her own foot. It made no sense. But I want to say something to Pearl. I want to say something to you. The problem is this. If you don't have a moral worldview which is well established, then the question will remain, from whence do you get your morality? Why does anyone need to listen to any of your opinions? It's all subjective opinions anyway. As the Qur'an states, أَمْ لَهُمْ شُرَكَاءُ شَرَعُوا لَهُم مِّنَ الدِّينِ مَا لَمْ يَأْذَنْ بِهِ اللَّهُ. Do they have false gods that legislate for them that which God gave them no authority to give, to legislate? In other words, morality on the Islamic paradigm comes from the all-knowing, the all-wise, the all-high, the all-powerful Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the wise one, the knowledgeable one, the one who created me, the one who created you. No one else can tell me what to do in an absolute way. لا طاعة لمخلوق, the Prophet ﷺ said. There is no obedience to the creation في معصية الخالق, in the disobedience to the creator. That's Islam. That is submission. That is the religion of Islam. And she was asking questions and she wants to do a panel and these kinds of things. She invited me to the panel and stuff. I'm not interested. I've done many debates. I've done the biggest debates between Muslims and Christians in terms of viewership in the modern period. For example, the debate between me and David Wood in 2018, which has garnered millions and millions of views across different languages. You can watch that debate if you want to know what the Muslim says and then see how the Christian responds and what the Christian says and how the Muslim responds on things, I may add, on things. Pearly, listen to me. Pearly, are you listening? You have to listen to me. You have to listen to me. On things which have creedal disproving implications. Now, this is an important key term. The question that you are bringing forward about the marriages, what's legitimate marriage and what's not legitimate marriage, the Prophet ﷺ and all those kind of things, it doesn't have creedal disproving implications in the sense that the answer to this question, when the Prophet ﷺ got married to whomever, doesn't answer whether Islam is true or not. Because you don't have an objective morality that you can prove outside of the Islamic framework. John Mackey writes a book called Ethics, in fact, and he says this himself. He's an atheist, and this is one of the masterpieces, the magnum opuses of the philosophical world in the Western tradition. And at the end of that book, he himself says, and I'm paraphrasing from what I remember, he says something to the effect of that you can't really know what objective morality is anyway unless you have a list from God. Now, we claim to have that list from God. And our conception of God is crystal clear, which is why many people are becoming Muslim, because when they think about Islam, they think about one God, not a man with a date of birth who was a child and came out of a womb and was in the belly of a woman. Yes, this cannot be a God which is meant to be the all-powerful, all-creating. This is the thing. You have to ask yourself as a Christian, you say you're a Christian, whether you believe in this thing or not. Now go ahead and watch those debates, because then you can see what the other side says. You don't need to create a panel in your own show to talk about religious matters. You can watch religious debates, of which there are many on the online space. That's the first thing. The second thing is, because of this fact, Whatever opinion you're going to give, Pearly, with all due respect to you, right? Although I have to say, as caveat, we agree with some of your opinions, no problem. I say that openly. Agree with some of your opinions. But whatever opinion you're going to give is going to be a subjective value judgment. Once again, from whence do you derive or extrapolate your morality? Where'd you get it from? What paradigm are you speaking from? Are you speaking from a wealth of great experience as a woman in her older years and she's had such long years of marriage? No, you're a 26-year-old volleyball player. I mean, with all due respect, like, what are you going to bring to the table about intersexual dynamics that the world doesn't know and that hasn't experienced in the first place, and that traditions haven't spoken about? So the point is this, is that if you want to have credibility, I'm being serious here, if you want to have credibility on a topic like this, which relates to the family and domesticity of a woman or a man or whatever it may be, you need to have a paradigm which you're operating from. Otherwise, it's just opinion. And yes, you'll get somewhere with an opinion. You'll get some views and some likes. But at the end of the day, it's not solid enough to live your life with it. And one isn't complete and integrous and deriving of their self-worth through likes and shares and views online. I've got it myself. I've got many likes, many views, many shares, many subscribers. I can tell you, I don't derive my self-worth from this, Pearly. It's not the thing that's made me feel very strong and very feel anchored and very like a sense of purpose of life. I have a purpose of life. The thing that's given me this purpose of life is the belief in one God and the living by Islam. I invite you to Islam, Pearly, because when you become a Muslim, then you can live by a paradigm. Then you can be impressed with a proper system that will facilitate for you a proper relationship with God and will tell you the proper relationship that should be done in the family home. Look into it, watch the debates, read the Qur'an, and be respectful next time when you speak to the Muslim people. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that whoever builds a mosque for Allah, Allah will build for him a similar house in Jannah. And we know the great reward that will not only be gained, but rather will fill your grave after your death. Whenever someone prays there, whenever someone gives shahada in the masjid, whenever someone learns something in the masjid, yes, that will be something that you'll have on your scale.